What's up, everybody? Todd here with Citizen Defense. Welcome back to the channel. So I apologize out the gate that I've been behind on content here lately. Life's been hitting us hard. I've been sick. Family's been sick. I'm transitioning to a new job. So content has been on the back burner, right? But with that, I wanted to get back into regular content with this video in particular because I've been planning on doing it for a little while now. And if you followed me on Instagram, you've noticed that I have a new everyday carry setup, okay? My new concealed carry. Same PDP platform, but I have made some changes to it. Now, where did this start from, right? Because the last time when I first started the channel, I had a series I was going to do called the Ultimate EDC, which was my other PDP that I have that I've shot thousands of rounds through it, right? I'd sent it off to Matt Gunworks for a custom Cerakote stipple job, trying to get some different stuff done, get a different feel for some aftermarket stuff that might help me in certain ways. And I was going to do a whole series on it. And I got to part 2 and I stopped. Well, why? Because right around that time, it was like I've put a lot of rounds through this thing. I'm getting to the point to where I need to start looking at changing springs. You know, springs are getting stretched out, wore out, and stuff like that. And I wanted a apples to apples carry gun and training gun, one that it was not a big issue that I can take this into the range and matches, shove this one in my pants, nothing has changed, right? Like pretty common sense stuff. But there are a few things that I wanted to change with this setup and try some things that I haven't done before or that I was hesitant to go to, okay? So this video is going to be about that. We're going to go over this whole new setup, what I've done and everything else. If you like this, get down in the comments, let me know. If you don't like it, get down in the comments and let me know. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So first off, this is my full setup for everyday carry. Now, I don't always run the extended 18 mag. It just depends on what I'm wearing. I might run the flush one. It just depends. I put this one in here right now because I had dummy rounds in it. So this is safe and clear, right? I'm always running the Tier 1 MSP holster. I've fallen in love with this thing since I've had it. And the Cloudster pillow wedge with the cooling memory foam and the bamboo material. This thing has been doing great during the summer. I do have a 10% off code for the Cloudster pillow. If you're interested in that, link it down in the description. Go check it out. So let's get into the nitty gritty, okay? This is my new PDP setup. Now, as you can tell, not crazy different from my other one, but there are some significant changes, some not so significant changes, okay? Let's start off by the elephant in the room, right, on this setup, and that's going to be this comp, okay? I have never been one that has really been interested in shooting a comp prior to what's been coming out here in the past couple years, okay? I was originally looking at getting one of the SD Pro models and getting the Parker Mountain machines, their comp for the SD barrel, but I really didn't want to add that length. And after seeing, you know, what Radian was doing with SIG and Glock and having the micro comp on there, like I really didn't want, I wasn't just going to jump. Like, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, eventually something like that has got to come out for the PDP. Well, it sure enough did. And that is the Parker Mountain Machine Micro Comp for the PDP. Now, this is a comp barrel combo, right? You cannot get this comp for the standard SD threaded barrel. You have to have their barrel combo, mostly because of the length. They have to have the right threads, the right pitch, and everything for this to seat together the way it needs to and be fitted flush and everything like that. But I will say there are no accuracy discrepancies with this barrel. I did, full disclosure, I did install this comp and barrel without adult supervision. So if that's something you're comfortable with doing, it's not a big deal. You will need their little mushy mounting block that they give you for $10. Makes life a heck of a lot easier. They send you everything they need. They have instructions online. Not a big deal. But if you're uncomfortable with something like that, I highly recommend you take it to a gunsmith. Now, how does this comp perform? Okay, let's go ahead and we'll cut to some videos and give you a little insight of the comp and what I think. Got the PDP with the Hollow Sun EPS and the Parker Mountain Machine Micro Comp Barrel Combo. Just finished zeroing this thing earlier when I first got to the range. Did some match training stuff, so now I'm going to put some doubles here at 7 yards and see what kind of returns I'm getting with this thing and see if I need to change anything with pressures or anything like that. So let's see what it does. So, had a couple fly a little bit there. They're still in the A zone, but they pulled a little one way or the other. What I can say with this comp, dot doesn't leave the window. This thing stays right there and returns. If you can dial in your grip and get this thing to return every single time, like I'm interested to see what kind of, if I can set any PRs on like bill drills and things like that. All right, so as you can see, really like the Parker Mountain Machine Micro Comp. This thing works without a doubt, okay? Like I said, prior to this, I have never shot a comped handgun, never really felt the need to, all right? But then with all the data coming out from Parker Mountain Machine, what I was seeing from Radiant and all that stuff, I was very interested and thought, okay, can I do it without one? Yes. Could I maybe do more with one? Possibly. Let's see how it goes. So I gave it a chance. I absolutely love it. I will say that when it comes to this comp, when I wanted to have a good solid comparison before I put rounds through this thing, right before I even really zeroed it. So I took my standard PDP that I have and put some rounds through it first, get a feel, and then went straight to this. And like at first, it took me a couple rounds to figure out what I was feeling, what I was seeing, because I could tell that something was different, but I couldn't quite tell what it was. Now, also to note with this thing, my other PDP, I have the ZR Tactical Guide Rod with a 15-pound spring. This one, I went with the ZR Tactical 17-pound spring, and this one is the Ultra Mass Guide Rod in this one, right? So this thing, with this steel comp, this comp is steel, adds a lot of weight to the front with the Ultra Mass Guide Rod, adds weight to it. Get that with the light on there, man, this thing just sits there. Like the dot does not leave the window. It shoots very, very, like it's very, very polite. It's soft shooting, and like I've easily just out the gate was easily setting PRs with this thing, right? And with that added weight, it points really nice off the draw. I absolutely love this setup. So we've covered the comp. Let's go ahead and go through what else I've done. Clearly stuck another TLR1 HL on there, right? My holster is fitted for a TLR1 HL, so that's what I stuck with, right? I'm kind of married to that setup, and I like the TLR1. I like the paddles on it. I like the engagement. Super easy, fits this platform great, okay? Now, I was going to go with another Hollow Sun. I was thinking about going with another 508T, but then I started playing around with, I'm like, maybe I should start looking at some closed emitters. Really didn't want to drop all that coin on a closed emitter optic like the Trijicon RCR and Even really wasn't considering the 509T just because I really didn't want that larger size, right? So I started looking at the Hollow Sun EPS. Now I am partial to Hollow Sun. Like I like Hollow Sun. I think they've come a long ways. Are a lot of their parts made in Chinese or China or whatever? Yes, absolutely. But there's if you think that any of your optics that you think that are fully U.S. made, I highly recommend you go and really do some research because there's not a lot of parts. They may be assembling them in the States, but they're not sourcing all their parts from the States, right? So just take that into consideration. But yeah, the EPS has been great. I absolutely like this thing. Now, the big change for me, I have always shot a 2 MOA dot, right? I have always run a 2 MOA dot. Never really tried like the larger dots. I was worried about like the larger ones being too distracting in the window, right? And I wanted a more precise dot for, headbox shots and stuff like that. Well, the more I started noticing changes with my vision, like astigmatism and stuff like that, and also in really bright sunny days, I started having problems picking up the 2 MOA dot quicker, and it was starting to become annoying from me, right? So I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with the EPS, closed emitter, right? Good price. And they make it in a 6 MOA single dot option, right? I don't need the multi-reticle BS. I don't need that stuff. All I need is a dot, okay? Went to a 6 MOA dot, and I have to say, I should have switched to a 6 MOA dot a hell of a long time ago. The size of the dot, the crispness and cleanness of the dot with that size. Also, the dot brightness, like I have way more brightness settings than I need on this thing for full sunlight settings. And with that size of the dot, it makes it so much easier for tracking, so much easier for my eyes to pick up that I was kind of what I was getting behind on finding that visual confirmation, losing that small 2 MOA dot. Took all my issues away with the 6 MOA. So I will say there's a good chance my 508T will be getting sold, and I'm going to be putting a 6 MOA dot on that one, right? Because I like the 6 MOA dot so much. Now, I went ahead and ran the calculated kinetics plate on this one. I used the calculated kinetics plate on my last one. I really like it. I like what they're doing. I like that they send everything with you. They're a great company. They have great customer service, and they have a clean look with functionalities. I really like the calculated kinetics plate. Now, the good thing is this plate paired with the EPS, as you can see, it's not a quite, absolute lower co-witness with this, right? But I can pick up my iron sights standard as they are if I need to, even with this plate. So it's just a little bit higher. Yeah, it's not a big deal. If the little plastic ones on the Walter that they have, they're not the best. But if they break, they go down in the future, I'll probably buy standard height sights with these anyways, because they work so well and they don't give me any more obstructions in the window. Now, as you can see, I have the dynamic performance trigger for the PDP, had it in my other one. I love the dynamic performance trigger. The only thing I will say that I do change with the dynamic performance trigger is while these are supposed to be lighter than the standard performance duty trigger, I always get tongue-tied with these with the Walther, but it's supposed to be lighter. To me, it feels heavier, and I get it. They're trying to make a cleaner, hard wall with a, kind of like a more forced reset with that stronger spring on there. But it's just a little much for me whenever I start going, when I start really running the trigger. So what I started to buy lighter springs, right? But I read on other places that some guys talked about they just changed out the dynamic performance spring with the OEM spring of the standard trigger. So I gave it a shot. Not a big deal, right? Absolutely love that, right? It cleans. Switching it to the standard trigger, in my opinion, to the standard return spring on this trigger versus the silver dynamic performance trigger, it just cleans this trigger up a lot. It's very clean. It's light. You get straight to the wall. There's no extra pressure, straight to the wall, and it's just a light, clean, crisp break, like a glass rod breaking, right? And I can run this thing really, really quickly. So outside of optic, plate, trigger, comp, let's talk about what I have next that is kind of, well, I wouldn't say kind of, it's my own homebrew stippling, right? So I'm going to do a close-up here on this stippling. As you can see, maybe you can't tell, maybe you can, I did this stippling all on my own. I had some old P80 frames that I practiced on, some polymer stuff that I had sitting around that I practice on. I got a temperature controlled solder, like I can actually change the heat temperature, and I played with what plastics do what and certain things, especially with the PDP having the rubber back straps on there. I definitely had to be careful because I used my spare back straps to practice on, and I noticed that I had to be very careful. I used it's from, I forgot what it is. It's a guy who offers stippling tools. You can find them on Amazon. But I got a small Phillips head because I really liked the stipple job that Kevin at Mac Gunworks did on my other PDP, and I wanted to keep that same type of pattern. It's aggressive, but it's not super aggressive that it's going to like tear my stomach up. So did a couple things, ran with the small Phillips head. I did keep the side ridges on the PDP. I tried to keep the absolute form of the grip. The only thing that I did do, if you can really notice here, is I took off the mag release flares that they have to keep for accidentally pressing that button. Those things drive me crazy, especially on the support hand side, right? Because when I get up there and I get a grip and I'm really trying to lock that in, I press on this finger and it drives into it, and it's very, very uncomfortable. Kevin took those off for me some. I realized after that they could have gone further, so I took my time and I really sanded these down, got them down smooth to where it was more like a slick frame. Tried not to go with the super deep border, just did a nice little melt job around the borders, fully all the way around, cut in that back strap, did really nice. Now, the other thing that I like about this thing that turned out good, something I wanted to do, and I got this idea from another custom shop that I had seen online. Don't remember the name of it, but I really liked this idea. And what I did, instead of because I want to keep the profile low, right, for everyday carry, I didn't really want to put a flared mag well on here, but there's enough polymer on the mag well of the PDP that I was able to take some off and actually flare this mag well that's here to give me a little bit more ease of insertion for magazines, right? So I kind of have a built-in flared mag well with this thing, and it works really, really well. I did it on my other PDP, and as long as you put the reps in right, would a large flared mag well make it easier? Yes. Can I get away with this? 100%, right? I can crush reloads with this thing, not a problem. And then I did a little bit of an undercut where there already was, just kind of smooth that out, went a little bit more, and then I did some stippling underneath the trigger guard, and that texture right there really lets me lock my grip in and bear down on this thing, and I can get so much surface contact with this job. Super happy with this. This is not something I'm doing on as professionally or anything, right? I just did this kind of as a hobby, wanted to do it on my own, and really happy with the way this come out. I might try in the future doing some other styles and stuff just to play around with, see if this is something I want to pursue. Close friends, colleagues, and stuff like that, I can knock it out for them. And that's pretty much it, right? That's all I have for y'all today. I hope you like this video. If you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about these upgrades, what I've done, if you like these products. If you don't like these products, let's get the conversation started on that. Share this with your friends if you're trying to get them some good information, some training video, product reviews, things like that. Send them on over to my channel, have them check it out. Go on and head on over to Instagram if you want to follow me on social media, keep updates with YouTube videos and everything else that I going on. So as for classes, I have some classes coming up towards the end of the summer, right at the end of August and the end of September. The first one is going to be August 23rd. Is going to be my Red Dot Fundamentals, Principles, and Performance class. That's going to be hosted at BTO Range in Conroe, Texas. And then also on September 20th, I'm doing a collaboration class with Josh Morgan, who is a USPSA Masterclass shooter, for a competition fundamentals class. And that one will also be hosted at BTO Range in Conroe, Texas. So you can find the links to all that on my website, or you can follow the link to my website. And you can find those classes there. If you want to register, go sign up early. It's all open. It's live on Classroom. Find the details about what to expect from that class. Hope everybody enjoyed this video. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends. Hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe.